Episode 1, Chapter 5. Chet retreated to the hotel room he shared with his parents and turned on the TV. He received a call from Steve a little later. "Found her," Steve crackled. "Just thought you guys should know." "Oh hey, where was she?" "Asleep in the video game room. You know, the one for little kids? Said she got bored. Guess it's better than the alternatives. Just wish she didn't have me walking around outside looking for her. As far as I know, your dad is still out there looking." His voice drifted away from the phone. "Hear that? You had Chet's dad out looking too." Steve hung up. Chet's heart started to pound as he returned the phone to its cradle. "I wonder if I should go check on her," he whispered. A few seconds later he answered, "Yeah, I should." After a shower and a change of clothes, Chet headed down the hall. He came to a slow stop before their door, but he couldn't summon the courage to knock. Chet decided to get a candy bar from the vending machines further down the hall. During his return trip, he paused and studied their room number. "She's probably fine," Chet whispered to himself. "And I'll be able to talk to her from space, right?" The door opened. Steve stepped out and let it close behind him. "What's the problem, Chet? We can see you moving around through the peephole." He held up the candy bar. "Brought you guys this?" Steve glanced at the bar. "You keep it." He leaned closer to Chet and mumbled, "Hey, listen, kid. What did you and Krautwasser talk about? I just got a strange call from him." The question surprised Chet. "I don't really remember," he lied. He felt his face warm. "Course not." "What was the call about?" "Don't really remember. But I'm starting to wonder if this whole thing was a mistake. These corporate guys are too strange for my liking. I'm supposed to go talk with them now." Steve scowled at the candy bar. "Never mind, I'll take it." He grabbed it out of Chet's hand and started down the hall. Chet suspected that CEO Krautwasser was doing his research on Beatrix. "The conference was pretty boring, and she was just in the arcade, right?" Chet asked in an attempt to reframe her indiscretion. "So, not really a big deal?" "It's a big deal, Chet. Keep away from her for now." Chet respected Steve's instructions. After another hour, he went out for a pop. Chet heard Steve and Beatrix arguing through their door. He wanted to pause and listen, but he gave them privacy. A little later, there was a knock on his door. Chet shut off the TV and answered. "Where's the folks?" Steve asked. He carried a duffel bag in one hand and a backpack over his shoulder. "Getting drinks," Chet replied. His mom planned to break the news to his dad about Chet's impending departure after she had gotten a margarita into him. "Are you guys checking out early? Can't take any more of this town." His manager handed Chet the bags. "Here, help me with these." "Yeah, sure." Chet took the bags and followed Steve to his room. He hoped to see Beatrix, but the room was empty outside of a large suitcase. Steve grunted the suitcase into his hands and returned to the hall. Chet held the door open for him. "That CEO of ours is a real piece of work," Steve grumbled. "Yeah," Chet agreed as he chased Steve to the elevator. Chet said nothing more in case Steve had something to add, but his manager remained silent. After a minute, Chet asked, "So where is Trix?" "Downstairs getting a cab, I hope. Got to be honest, kid, I wish to God I hadn't brought her." He scowled and added, "You got rose-colored glasses when it comes to Trix. You know that, don't you?" Chet wasn't sure what that meant, and he could think of no good response. He swallowed. Steve popped the elevator button. "Well, hey," Chet said. His lip quivered as he prepared to say goodbye, but he remained hopeful that they would stay connected through Beatrix. The elevator beeped and opened. Steve stepped inside. Chet started to follow, but Steve lifted a hand and said, "I'll take it from here." He grabbed the bags and set them atop his suitcase. "Good job with everything, kid. Have a good flight." As the doors started to close, their eyes met. Steve said, "Sorry about the girl." "Does that mean—" Chet started, but Steve was gone. "Maybe just that she wasn't there to see me get the award." Chet watched the numbers descend. "Yeah, I'm sorry about that too."